Hello and welcome back to the Jedi's Lighthouse. We're in our final section of the three that we started with a few weeks back. It's those which we weren't really sure before if they were our thoughts. By this point, you've done a lot of self-reflection and learned a great deal about how your mind ticks. Now it's time to organize them in this exercise and move all of your middle section into either mine or not mine. So I imagine it's been very hard to look at yourself in this methodology. You, like I did, have to accept that there are things you think which are hard to swallow. As I said in last week's episode, it's a lot easier to dissociate our thoughts as being another person because it gives our ego the opportunity to believe it's in the complete right. Even thoughts which seemingly support us can do this. Well, thoughts like, your strength is in the fact that you can see things which others cannot. It may prop up your ego at the most inopportune time and cause you to make really bad decisions. Acknowledging this was one of the hardest things for me to swallow when I did crisis intervention peer support. It was an Army training thing. So I was so focused on this idea that my intuition being a useful tool could just make up for any psychology that I didn't know, that I didn't realize how much damage I'd done to a friend because I severely lacked in active listening. Now, to be fair, there's a lot more going on there, but I recognize that one of my problems was I was not actively listening, so I couldn't discern certain pieces out of it. I used a lot of cookie cutter statements with her, and recklessly so. So today, I don't think I could have changed the outcome, but at the very least, I know I wasn't helping the best way I could have. And that's because I listened to a voice that propped up my ego, and I mistook it for something higher than humanity. Kind of like my higher self. So this week, take that list, compile that full list, and you're not going to have I don't know where these came from. That list will be gone. Maybe in the future you'll have this where you think of it real quick and you're like, I don't really know where that comes from, but now you know to think a little bit more about it too. Anyways, so you're going to have to remember to cross-reference your pre-meditation notes from the original set like you did last week. And there's another part to this. So because you've gotten to know yourself better over the last 2 weeks, this time it should be a lot faster for you to take these and put them into their proper sections, right? But you'll have to work a little bit of time on the second half if you have ones that are not mine. Because this is going to be important for your activity next week. So what you're going to do is you're going to take those not mine and you're going to take a sheet of paper, individual sheets of paper, and you're going to write notes to them so that you can release them into the force. I've come up with a couple of examples here so that I can help you. So we're going to take one of them that I kind of forgot exactly how I worded it last week, but anyways, so last week I had said this one was not mine. If I don't tap out, it will finally be over. There we go. Not very good at reading backwards. So anyways, so the note that I would have written is, to the voice that cried out into the force, thank you for giving me an opportunity to save my friend's life. I commend her into the hands of God. So this is not something that should be devoid of a deity. If you believe in the Christian God, in Allah, or in Thor, or Odin, or Zeus, or Athena, any deity that you happen to personally follow. I follow God, so for me, this is how it works for me. And I would release it. I would release my friend that was suicidal at the time into God's hands. So then, so let's take another one. So as soon as the doors open, I'll take the shank and thrust it into that guy's stomach. Okay, so I used to be detainee operations. I never had this actually happen, but I imagine somebody thinking that at one point in time, because I was trying to come up with like the worst possible thing that I could think of, to balance it out with me wanting to say thank you to something. This time I'm saying, yeah, I'm not really fond of this voice. I don't like it. I don't want it around me. I don't want to know that some guy wants to shank someone because that can affect your life. So just hypothetically, let's say that I had actually heard this. Maybe that would cause me to treat the detainee that I was dealing with improperly because of some perceived notion that may or may not even be true. And it'd be better if I was just more on alert rather than taking him away from the opportunities to go to the bathroom, for example, or to go outside near a fire in the cold. It's kind of cold out here. So go near a fire in the cold to burn. You know what? I don't want to tell you what they were burning. So we're just going to go from there. But even if it did smell really bad, those of you that deployed and you were ever in detainee ops, you probably know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so to that voice, to the voice that wished ill will towards another, I release you into the Force so that both of us may find peace from your malice. So I want, when you think about what you're going to say to these voices, you want them to be positive, not just for that voice, that thought, so the person that gave you that thought or whatever. You want it to be positive because the way that you think, the way that you treat something affects how you look at it later on down the line. By starting off and making sure that you are going to put a positive spin on it, and you got to do this with sincerity. It's really hard, but you have to do this with sincerity. So if you're having problems with that idea, you have a not mine, and it was very, very dripping with malice, and it caused you to fear, to be afraid of something, you're going to have to work on that. You're going to have to work on that throughout the rest of this time, from now until the final exercise, which will be on Halloween or the next day, All Hallows Day, depending on what you want to do. You'll notice that in the other one, I said into the Force so that both of us may find peace from your malice. I could have also said to the voice that wished ill will towards another, I release your malice to be resolved by God so that we may both find peace from your malice. That's another way that I could have done this. It just really depends on you. Depends on how you want to look at it. And you always want to put a positive spin on it so that you can take that on board. But you want to be sincere. So if you're not sincere about the positive spin, meditate on it and figure out why you're not sincere about this positive spin, and try to learn how you could be, just to kind of get, because you don't want to do this, you don't want to put that positive spin insincerely, otherwise it's just empty. It's empty. All right, so now you have your assignment. Next week I'll explain how we're going to use these letters to release them back into the Force. And yeah. Thank you for stopping by the Jedi's Lighthouse. See you next week.